Alright, I'm sitting here working on my tools. You know, when I started making these tools, I made them without any kind of recollection of actually how the tools are supposed to be made. I was only making them from first impression of what I had seen in Mallorca when I was watching Brent McCown and Lawrence Suet and Durga. But now, after experience and working with these guys here in London and having them here at the studio, I've gotten a lot of information about what the tools, how the tools should be made, and the dynamics of the tools. So yeah, I'm completing my handmade tools right now, and I've sort of morphed them. These tools are a combination of a Samoan tool and a Sarawak tool. So it's kind of Durga's influence and Brent's influence working together. Now, the first actual Samoan tool was made by Morrow, and which is a beautiful tool that he handmade for me while he was staying here at the shop, or working here in the studio. Yeah, it was a very big, very big lesson. I learned a lot about just how the tool should be shaped and the size of the tools, because originally I made the tools really big. I don't know why, but I made them big and I made them a little too heavy. But now they're definitely more dynamic and they're definitely weighted properly. I'd like to point out one thing, that I am in no way a professional at doing this, and this is definitely not an instructional video for anyone to follow. This is me taking what I've learned so far and creating my own perspective on this. I'm not going to be tattooing in any Polynesian form. I'm reaching back into my own indigenous roots, Kechi Maya from Belize or from Central America. And yeah, so this is all new. This is all new, and I'm kind of making all of this up as it goes along. Because unfortunately, the Mayan people have no records left of any of their history, and their tattooing was totally annihilated by Christianity. By the time the Spanish got to Central America, the Mayan culture had already totally disappeared pretty much, and everything was in ruin. The Mayan people still existed, but their culture and the great cities of the Maya had already been totally gone. That stuff was already into ruin and into antiquity. The language still existed, and there were the codexes, the books, the history books of the Mayas that were still available. But the Spanish priests found them to be demonic and satanic, and in their heat to convert the people, they burned all the Mayan history. They burned the codexes except for 4. So we have nothing to go on. There's really no, there's no history written down anymore. So again, there's no protocols. We have no idea. I have no idea what they used to tattoo. I believe my own theory is that the Mayans cut and filled, which means that they would cut the skin with something sharp, cut the design into the skin with something sharp, and then fill it with ink later. What the tools they used, I have no idea. Maybe they used the same tools that they used for ritual bloodletting. Maybe they used stingray spine, or the thorns from the tequila plant, or maybe they used obsidian, obsidian needles, or sharp obsidian objects to open the skin and allow the ink in. Who knows? And protocols and ritual of tattooing, there's no recollection. And if anyone knows anything more than me, please let me know. Get in touch with me, let me know, because I'm definitely hard to find out. I'm really looking. There is a god of tattooing in the Mayas, Akat, that we know. Images of him I'm finding hard to find. I have no idea what this god looks like. All I know is that he was the god of tattooing and body modification. So yeah, I'm going on bare bones here. Coming from Brooklyn as a kid, I was in contact with the language, but as a kid from Brooklyn, I never thought I'd ever use the language. I never thought I'd become a tattooist. And now I wish that I would have listened a little more and studied the language a little more. Part of this journey, part of this quest is to first pick my Spanish back up. After living in Austria and Germany for so many years, my German is really good, but my Spanish has dwindled. So I found that out this weekend when I was in Spain. So yeah, that's the first thing, is to get my Spanish back on track, and then to start studying. Well, now we're actually doing it at the same time, studying my own native language. The Mayans in Belize, where my people are from, were pushed out by the English by the 1600s, and they went to Guatemala, to El Salvador, to Honduras, and into Mexico. It's just been, I guess, within the past 20, 30 years that they're returning back to their native lands in Belize, and their culture is rising, and they're, as an indigenous part of the culture there, they're taking a big part back again, especially in western Belize. An old wise Maori once told me that the designs aren't dead, even though the culture is not alive. But I can find them in the textiles, I can find them in sculpture, I can find them in woodcut, I can find them in ceramic. So yeah, it's there. And right now I'm definitely looking a lot at textile design, because the Mayans people are still creating textiles in the same way that they used to, way back when. And the designs haven't changed very much. They've evolved a bit and they've modernized, but they definitely haven't changed very much. So that's the basis of where I'm starting my design creation. And again, protocols of tattooing, ritual of tattooing, no idea. No idea what that is. I'm going to have to get as much information as I can, get in touch with these shamans that are still out there in Belize, and try to piece together some form of ritual that's connected with tattooing. So I don't know, was tattooing performed under some sort of astrological environment? Was there a protocol of astrology that had to do with it? Was there a certain time of month, time of day? Both men and women supposedly were tattooed. I don't know if it was only men doing the tattooing. These things I don't know. And yeah, I'm on the journey to find. I'm going back to school. Not only for tattooing, but to understand and learn my own culture. I've already cut the tools into shapes. This is olive wood. These two are made of rosewood. These two guys. This guy is made of ash, and this one's made of rock maple. And as you can see, I found this right out in the woods. It's just to find the correct shapes. And if you look hard, if you're out in the woods, you definitely can find the right shapes. So, off we go. Good day. I don't know, I've been working maybe 3-4 hours, maybe 5. But I got all my round tools finished. Again, these are going to be strictly for round tools, and these are a morph between a Samoan tool and a Sarawak tool. So yeah, I like them. I'm sure they're going to work fine. I'm sure they're going to work really fine, especially for combined techniques. These are going to be strictly used for round needles. I have some Samoan flat awes at home that I'm making. Brent McCown has given me one, and Pat Morrow made me a beautiful one that I'm definitely not going to use. I'm going to save that way for posterity. It's the first thing that one that I learned to make the tools from. I've got a good idea now how to make these tools. I realized that in the beginning, I was making them a little too big and heavy. They got to be a little lighter, especially since you're going to hold these things for hours and hours sometimes. Yeah, they can't be weighing too much. You know, they got to be a little lighter. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my progress of these. I just need to notch them and make the holes to put the needles in on these, or the needle bars in on these. And yeah, and I'm ready to rock. I got some victims in. Yeah, hopefully maybe next week or this weekend, maybe Sunday, I'm gonna get some people in and start tapping.
What